Hi everybody, come on in. Yesterday was watering day and something really disturbed me, and I thought I have to do it in front of you so you can see it. So another video already. So I hope you're all fine. And we've got sunshine shining outside today. It's beautiful. It's supposed to be warm, real nice and warm by the weekend. And I'm going to go put some seeds in some pots in the greenhouse so we can have nice tomato plants. So after this, this is the orchid. First orchid I put in a glass pot. Now, it has been in this pot for a year, and November 2022 to November 2023, it was in this pot. I've always watered it the same water once a week, like all my orchids, and I've never noticed the water hanging around or it looking like it wasn't drying out. Now this one has one hole in the very bottom and only 2 holes up here, but it is very concave, and because it goes in like my traffic cones, it dries quicker. And I never thought of that, and we're going to put this over here. I never thought of that when I started doing this, and I thought, oh, they'll still be the same water schedule. But we have noticed that they just haven't been drying out as good as I would like. We're going to look at 2 of the orchids, even though they're in bloom, because I am concerned. And see, we're going to look at these 2 and a dendrobium too, if I get a chance. So maybe we'll look at that one first. And you may not believe what I'm going to do. So I went out in the yard yesterday. I'm going to take these big ones out. I did pick some cones from the backyard, and I have fir cones. I have lots of fir cones just from under our trees, and they've been laying there a long time. So most of them are about this size, and I don't think there's seeds left, but if there is and a tree starts to grow, that won't bother me. And the thing is, I prefer larger bark. So if you do this and you have larger bark, I would use it, because the purpose of the glass and not so many holes is that the orchids stay more humid. Well, they're staying too humid, I think, because I want to water all my orchids and fertilize them the way I do by my schedule once a week. And in the summer when it's hot, they might get 2 waterings, but only 1 a week with the fertilizer. The rest will just be clear water if I have to add an extra week. So I don't want to get all mixed up by having to water these differently. So I'm thinking, well, I have to add airspace. Now here, it's very difficult. I keep trying to get the orchid bark in the large pieces that I used to get, and I can't get it. I could order it online, but here it costs me an arm and a leg for mail, and I really don't want to get into that. And I do like organic media in my orchids, and I do like bark. So I'm thinking, I know all the things, some I've tried that I can use for air circulation. The big chunks of lava work very good. The pot that I put some big pieces in, we're going to look at too. But I'm thinking I'm going to go with the little fir cones. They're free for my taking off the bank. They're still fir. Yes, they're cones, but I think I'm going to give it a try, and we'll see how it goes, because not having had this problem, I don't know, and I thought of peanuts, you know, styrofoam packing things and large charcoal, and I thought of a lot of things, but I thought these were a nice size. I do have some pine ones that are a little bigger. I don't have a lot of them, and you know, but I think I'm going to go mostly with the fir. And we're going to try it, and we're going to see, because I think well, we'll know when we start looking in here, but even one night, oh, maybe a couple weeks ago, Jack says, it looks like it's wet in there. And it was almost watering day. You know how with our normal pots we use, I always say, if you're new to orchids and you want to know if you should water, how often, to figure it out, the only way is to check the pot. If it's watering day, check the pot. If it's too wet in the bottom, you will know right away, especially with bark, you will know. And then all you have to do is, okay, I'll wait these many days or these many days. And once you figure it out for your area and your humidity conditions, then you know. But anyway, if we're going to do all these orchids, I better quit talking and we'll do it. And I'm going to unhook the flower. I hate to bother it, but you know what? I think it's the best thing to do. So let's just take that stuff out. This is the one that got the leaf amputation. And yesterday was watering day. I did water this one. So I'm going to try not, and I'm just going to put this here. I don't want to, I'll put this over here for a minute. That way, this can hang down here. I don't want to pull too hard. This is the orchid bounce. Just sticking my hand up in there. I don't want to break any new roots. I don't want to be pulling too hard. One thing about the glass is I don't think they'll be attached, which is a good thing. Here we come, here we come. Okay. Okay, there's the pot, and there's the 3 holes, and let's just see. This is the one I put large lava chunks in, so that was a good thing. So I can still use them in the bottom of the pot, but it is holding humidity, and we can see that by the color of the bark. So normally I don't have to repot too often because I grow on the dry side, but this has been keeping them on the wet side. So let's see if we got what we've got for the roots. Have we lost any? Okay. Pull that out. I'm just going to feel them all. We got some new ones here, so that is a good thing. I'm just checking for soggy roots. There is some good growth. There's one that is damaged. I should get my scissors. I heated them over the gas stove, and I'm just going to take that little piece of damage off that's right there. Okay. I'm being careful. See, I don't pick the bark off that is stuck. So far I don't feel anything soggy, but it's still staying way too wet. I want to make sure oh, here's one, here's one. Okay, here we go. These ones here, they either didn't take to it or it's because they've been too wet. And I'm just going to leave the strings Just checking. Those were up high, so I'm surprised. That could have just been the change in media. Not media, but just conditions. Any time when you change the condition a plant is growing in, they will react. So this bark is very wet and it's definitely not drying. So I'm going to put this down. I'm going to show you what I mean. And this one I think I did water yesterday. Yeah, it's very, very wet. So let's put you in here for a minute. Poor little thing. Put you there. There. So this is very wet. Yeah, and it will deteriorate way quicker than I want it to. So here we are with the pot, and I'm not concerned. Oh, the inside of this pot is it was spray painted yellow. Do you know what I have to do? I have to quickly give this pot a wash. Because the glass, you know, they spray color on. So just give me a minute here and I'll give this a wash. See what's coming off. Anyway, I was very surprised because I didn't have that problem with the other pot. And I was very surprised, and I really want to use them. And papered pots are pretty hard to find. So this vase, you can see that there's some kind of finish they put on. Which, now that I know there's a finish in there, we'll just take it off. So you know what? I'm going to turn this video off. I'm going to turn it back on when I get this clean because it'll feel better. Okay. We'll be back in a minute. I'm back. Well, this was yellow, and I never realized it was spray painted on the inside. I guess they made it look yellow, and some of them are like that. So now it is clear glass, which is better, because I know stained glass windows can stop some of the rays for growing your plants from coming through a full spectrum. So it's probably a better thing. And so I've cleaned all that off, and I am going to put the larger pieces of lava rock that I did have on the bottom. And it's going up to about where the holes are, so I know the holes aren't getting plugged, that they're still going to circulate air. So, and then I'm going to get my little pieces of cone. Maybe I'll put just a couple handfuls in the bottom. And then, see, it's when you're trying a new experiment, and I did for a year before I put more in, but even the shape, even I found that with my pots, that's why the traffic cones do so good. Even the shape of the pot makes a difference in how the water dries. Where if your pots are shaped like this and you have a humidity issue, it's better than like this because there's more to try and dry under the surface, and that's where you run into problems. So I'm going to put a bit of bark, and then I'm going to probably have to get my plant in there. I think I'm going to give it a little rinse because of that painty stuff. Oops, not too hot. A little cooler, yeah. Oh, poor baby. I know, but you'll be happy. You got your same bark. At least we didn't lose any roots. Now, okay. I'm going to get it centered, and we're going to put some bark in. And then we're going to put a few cones in. These are much bigger than the pieces of bark because they're also round. So they will help with the air. And I'm thinking at least they're organic and they're for my own fir tree. So there's been no chemicals involved. I still have my bark, so I get the good, when the bark starts to decay and you get lots of good bugs coming in to help your orchids. There's an old dead root that has been cut off some other time. Just leave the short end. Okay, and then at the top it's going to dry quicker. Not too worried there. That's where even if you miss too much, when I say I missed from a distance, if you miss too much on the actual surface, it can also add a lot of water and cause, rotting issues. But I don't feel too bad about that. And I have my little stick. So I think we're going to have way better air taking place. So that the air that is coming in the bottom and air from the top of the pot can circulate better. So I'm not too worried about the bark on the surface. But I can tell from repotting my orchids, although they call this medium bark, I think it's got smaller, that's how they make their money. And I can tell that it was way too wet. So it does need the air circulation. So then we'll just put our little stake back in. I can see because of the glass that I can go down the side carefully, and I can see I'm not hurting a root. It is really nice that you can see what you're working with. So, there. It has its advantages, and because the other one did so good, I think just to solve a little more air going in is going to make a big difference. And I don't know, it's a learning curve. Hey, whenever I see them shaped like this, I've got one like this on my catasetum. Now I could exchange that one for an orchid and leave the catasetum in a square one or more straight sides because it's more humid. I just might do that. Okay, we got one done. I'll clean up the leaves later. So we got that one checked. I'll put it over here. Now, I wanted to check this one. Whoops. This is the orchid from the, going to have extra bark, from the plastic bottle experiment. If you remembered, I had 2 orchids that I experimented for quite a few months with the plastic bottles, but I didn't like them. They were awkward, and I wasn't that happy. Now this has big lava pieces in the bottom, and let's check this one. I think it's best. Either way, I'm going to add some cones to it. So. I used to always check my pots like this anyway. This was in spike on September 27th. We've had flowers for quite a while. I'm going to just put you there. Now, okay, this one has some lava in the bottom. And it's nice big lava, and that's a good way to get up to those holes. But I'm not too worried about that. So there's another one, and another one. It's not quite as wet as the other one was. I did not water this one yesterday. Now it has some new roots here, and there's a new shoot coming here. And there's another new shoot. So this is good because this is an orchid that did lose some at some time. When I put it in the plastic bottle, it wasn't, okay, there's a sort of wet one right here. So I like to peel them off. Okay, I don't want anything wet going back in. That's up the surface, and some of them may have just taken just a change because the type of growing. The rest are very good, and it is starting to get new roots. Very nice. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to mix the bark with, we'll put some bark on the bottom, and then some cones. Because we've got lava rocks in there too. And just a little bit of bark. And I'm going to put in some cones. And some bark. Just give it a little twist in the pot. It'll help with the circulation because when you got small pieces of bark, they tend to settle together easier. Okay. I want all this kind of thing cleaned up before the growing season, which is on we're just there, getting there now as they finish flowering. This one has been in spikes since September 27th. So it was new to this pot. You can tell I'm putting less bark in because I've got lots left here. Okay, another one done. Now there's a very curious one I have to be gentle with. So let's put this one here, and I'm going to clean the leaves off after. So this is garbage because there is some old roots down here. Okay, dendrobium. Okay, this is, I had two keikis, dendrobium. I picked off my dendrobium, which is out in the patio. And I had knocked the top off of one, and it grew a nice little sprout. They've been doing good in here. They never hesitated. You hate to bother them, but I'm going to come around because I want to show you just how wet some of this is staying. I did not water this. So you see the roots are doing good, but it's just way too wet. It's going to turn to muck, and it is growing some stuff. Only I think because it is too wet, and I'm not worried about that. So, because of their roots are so tiny, we're going to have to be very careful. So, Oh boy. It has been doing good in here. There's no doubt about it. Okay, I want to show you. Well, it's certainly liked the extra moisture more than the fells. Look at this. So just being put in there and no fuss. No extra fuss. But it is very damp now. They're not down that far, so let me just lay them aside and get some of this real wet stuff out of here. So this is just caked here, way too caked. In fact, it's hard to get out. So it definitely needs aeration. Luckily, yeah, way too wet, very wet. So even though I had the holes and I've been draining it, it has been staying very wet. So you have to, if you've just started this, don't forget to check your pot. But if you can see, because it is a glass pot, you will be able to see the darkness, that it's not drying as quick as the surface. And then is a good sign. That was my sign to check. So, you know, I have these big ones, and because they are, I think the roots are not going up that far yet. I'm thinking of putting these big ones in the bottom for airspace. Get some air down there. I think that'll be fine. So then we'll put just a few small ones. Well, I'm excited to try it and see how it does. There, now on some bark. This way the bark will last longer. And you know, if I could have got, it's still not really the best walking out in the woods, but I could have gone and got some fir bark out of one of the trails in the woods where trees have fallen down. But then I found these and I thought, well, and I Googled it to see, some people have used pine ones, and I thought pine ones would be worse, so I thought, hey, I'm going to go for it. So you can let me know what you think. Okay, look at those nice babies. Okay, we're going to put some bark, and then we're going to put some of the little cones. I'm not going to use those big ones right there. And some bark. Let me know how crazy you think I am. I've tried over the years, and it's been about 15 years I've been growing orchids, and not knowing anything or anybody that grew them. And it's made me try many different things, and I have. Sometimes someone will send me a note and say, have you ever tried this or that, or yeah, I have. I've tried many different things and then settled with the bark because I think it's the best. Now, I will use my little pokey thing. Actually, this is probably just as good. I don't want to poke where the roots are. And I know there's just air in the bottom, and I'm not too worried about that. See, and they're just babies, and they're just in there for a while. I just wanted to see if they would start, but they've done beautifully. There we go. So even the one that got its top broke off, it grew a nice little sprout, and the ones that are down below will be hanging in moisture, humidity. So I think I'm just going to leave it like that, and we'll see if there's any I don't think I had to fill it all up again. It was so caked at the bottom. So I think that's good. And the other ones seem okay because the pots are a little bit smaller. So something to consider if you're just trying this. And then keep an eye on yours if they're in the glass. I'm not really the least bit discouraged because I really truly liked large bark. And see, it works out good for my pots because regular flower pots that I'm using for orchids, my traffic cones, it's okay because the holes are this big and they also are tapered like this. And even though it's the big traffic cone, it's just pot size with a screen to stop it from flowing through and wasting the bark. So the roots go down and they get through the screen and they hang in that area in the bottom of the traffic cone where all the humidity hangs out. And there's no place for water to stay in those pots because there's a screen. So this bark dries out very good in a normal pot. But sitting like that is not a good thing. So I have to clean up this mess. I'm going out to enjoy the sunshine in the greenhouse. And let me know what you think. Am I really crazy? But I had them on the hill. I think it's better, but time will tell. And I have so many orchids. This one never ever did that. It gets watered once a week. It's perfectly healthy. And I think because even though it's just got, let's see, oh, it does. Oh, no, it's got 4 holes halfway up and then 1 hole at the very bottom. It always drains, and it's got enough holes for the size of it compared to the other ones. So something to consider. Size of pot when you're doing the glass. How many roots are in there is also a big consideration. So we will see. The growing season's coming. We should be getting lots of new roots because they've just been put in. And I think they look cute with the medium. I'm going to bring one around and show you that we just did. I like that I can see in the pot. So now, there's a close-up. There's a little broken root there. There we go, airspace. I see airspace. That's what we wanted. So, thanks very much, everybody. Comment. I love you. And thanks for sending me pictures of your flowers. Oh, just a minute. Thanks for sending pictures of your flowers to my email. carolynorchidfriends@gmail.com. I'll put it in the description because I really enjoy seeing your flowers. I post them on the community page. The community page, I do not put any orchid pictures of mine. When I get pictures that someone sends me of their orchids, I put them there, and you can visit with those people back and forth by leaving a comment, and they can answer you. They will check up on their orchids to see who's asking them something, and they can talk with you, and you can talk with them. It is the only job I have to do is because I had to figure out a way to get the pictures onto the community page, and I have to do that. So I get your pictures, I take screenshots, and then I put them up. And I love to see them, and I'm sure all you like to see other people's pictures. And if there's someone that you might read something in the comment and you want to see a picture of it, ask them to send me an email with the picture and I will post it on the community page. And seeing we're talking about that, I want to explain Jacqueline's orchids. Many people can't understand why it's Jacqueline's orchids and my name's Carolyn. Well, it's because when we first did this channel, and Jack has to help me so much, I wanted his name, half of it, and my name. So instead of Carolyn, it's Jack-O-Lyn. The last part of my name and his first name, Jacqueline's Orchid. But actually, we're Carolyn and Jack. And I'll put the link to my email underneath, so whenever anybody wants my water schedule, I will send it. Any questions they want to ask me, I'm gladly there to help. But I did have such joy looking at those beautiful flowers we've been getting lately. Thanks again. So now I will go, hey, give me a thumbs up. It helps us reach more people. Bye for now.